So we have defined this fade trigger in our to-dos component. Chances are somewhere else in our application, you may want to apply a fade effect to another element. We don't want to repeat all this code. So it's better to extract this code and put it into a different module that we can reuse in multiple places. So back in the app folder, I'm going to add a new file, animations.ts. In this file, we're going to define our reusable animations. Now, if you have a lot of animations, instead of one file, you may want to create a directory, and in that directory, you will have different files for different kinds of animations. But for this example, that's an overkill. So back in our component, this trigger is basically a function that is defined in Angular/animations module. So if you look at the return type, it returns an animation trigger metadata object. Once again, as a tip, I told you, whenever you see these types, drop the words animation and metadata. So this trigger function returns a trigger object. All we have to do is export a trigger object from our animations module. So I'm going to select all this code, cut it, back to the new module, export a variable, let's call this fade, and set it to the return value of this trigger function. Now let's clean up the code. Finally, we need to import all these functions from Angular/animations package. So back to our component. On the top, I'm going to cut this line and move it to this new module. Beautiful. Now we can reuse this fade trigger in multiple places. So back to our component. Here in this array, I'm going to add the fade trigger. So fade, and you can see this is defined in the animations module.